this.
Mr. Pandaria changes and introduces a truly staggering amount of content to World of Warcraft. Out of every version of WoW that's been replayed so far under the classic name, this one, by some margin, has the most new stuff. In fact, I go as far as to say that this is where WoW truly took a turning point from being mainly raid or PvP focused to now embracing so many more types of gameplay, including more content around completion, collection, side questing, and tons more. And sure, it already had some of these things to some extent, but Mr. Pandaria really builds on all aspects of the game. So today is going to be a quick fire video of a bunch of things that Mr. Pandaria did to the game, so you can get a bit more familiar with what to expect if you're planning to give this expansion a try. So
wait, I'm trying to think what MoP actually added. Like, it didn't add arenas, didn't add rated battlegrounds, it didn't add Mythic Plus. Okay, it added the thing that preceded Mythic Plus. It was challenge modes. It added challenge modes. What else did MoP actually add? Oh, Brawlers Guild. I forgot about that. Battle pets. Okay. Pandas, sure, but I mean like systems. Like, what did they actually add? I guess there was some more stuff. Reforging scenarios. I'm trying to think, like, before we watch this. I feel like Legion having Mythic Plus, TBC having Arena, and Kata having RBGs were like the three big in my mind, because these are like brand new gameplay changing systems that were like massive, like TBC, Kata, then Legion. Have we seen anything bigger than those three? RBGs, Arenas, and Mythic Plus? Because obviously raiding has been around since Classic, and those are like the big four, right? Obviously, like achievement hunting and stuff. MoP had flex raids, delves. Yeah, delves, but delves were kind of a flop, right? I mean, they're kind of cool, but they weren't. Delves, I feel like delves aren't like a raid or a Mythic Plus, right? It's like, yeah, you can play the content solo, some content solo if you want. Anyway, yeah, let's keep watching.
So with that said, let's make a start on this and go through just some of the ways that Mr. Pandaria changed World of Warcraft. Let's start off with a few special mounts which are introduced. You'll be able to get a water walking mount from the Anglers at Exalted, which is a nice quality of life thing to have on different characters, and will come in handy now and again. The Sky Golem is added in Mr. Pandaria 2 that allows you to herb whilst mounted, which is a big buff for everyone who hasn't been playing a druid with herbalism. This does need an item though,
What? I didn't know you could do this with a Sky Golem.
Called Jard's Peculiar Energy Source to make, and this came in the final content.
Wait, was that the purpose of the Sky Golem? Wait, did you guys know this? Hold on, I can't be the only one. I didn't know you could, was that the purpose of those? Yes, yes, yes. Brother. What? I just thought it looked cool. I had no idea. Hold on, is there anyone else that didn't know this? I can't be the only one. Me? Okay, at least there's some other people. I didn't know that. I thought the Sky Golem, by the way, I'm pretty sure I have the Sky Golem on my account. I just never knew it was for this purpose. I just thought it looked cool.
Patch, so I doubt we'll be able to make this straight away, and you'll probably have to wait quite a while. There is also the Reigns of the Grand Expedition Yak, which is introduced and sold over in Conlight Summit. This has a repair service and a transmogrification service as well, so you can update your transmog as soon as you win an item if you can mount in that area, instead of having to head all the way back to city. It costs 120,000 gold baseline though, so it's not cheap. It's in Mr. Pandaria that the Goblin Glider gets added to the game. This is one of my favourite random use items that's ever been put in WoW. Though it's not just an item you can have in your bag as any profession, in this expansion it's a cloaked tinker with a relatively long cooldown, but still it's always fun to use. Of course the talents are revamped from you getting 1 talent point every 2 or so levels in Kata, down to getting 1 point every 15 levels, with a choice of 3 different talents in MoP. And whilst there is a lot less choice here and it's not as satisfying to level up and make decisions for your build, once you're at endgame you'll find that a lot of your your
that?
class's power is just baked into your baseline specialization instead of being things that you have to pick. The druid gets a 4th specialization, and now feral is split up into feral, which is a DPS spec as cat, and guardian, which is their new tanking spec as bear. Hunters no longer use melee weapons and no longer have a minimum attack range either, so any concerns of when you have to stack for a mechanic and can't shoot are now gone. Disengage is also usable out of combat. Been waiting for this since Wrath of the Lich King. I was wondering when this would happen. For classes that use relics such as druids, paladins and so on, that slot is also now gone from the game. Warriors and rogues no longer have ranged weapons either, and wands are now main hand weapons. Basically, no more stat stick items in Mists of Pandaria that may have been wanted as a large upgrade for another class or spec. They're just all gone. There are a lot of random items that can be obtained in the open world which can be used just for fun, their cosmetic appearances, or their functions. Here's a few ones I picked out, such as the Elixir of Ancient Knowledge, which gives 300% bonus XP for 1 hour. It seems as though this got nerfed in the Shadowlands pre-patch, but up till then this was camped on every single realm forever, and it is really overpowered for pretty obvious reasons. There's the Hose and Peace Pipe, which gives 1000 reputation to all Pandaran factions. I'm sure you've heard about how important reputation farming is in this expansion. Again, this one is going to be camped forever for pretty much the entire expansion. Maybe people will find ways to abuse layers to farm multiple of these, but still, there's going to be a lot of competition.
Hose and Peace Pipe farm is going to be locked down by Weed Elf. I can guarantee it.
And a cosmetic one I've always liked is Ailu's Sky Mirror, where you just take on the appearance of your target. Of course, there is the new Race-Ang class in Pandaran, and the Monk. Pandaran start as a neutral race and get to choose whether to join the Alliance or the Horde at the end of their starter zone, and the Monk is a versatile class that can tank, heal, or DPS. They use energy and chi as a resource, kind of like a rogue, and wear leather. And they were quite different in Mists of Pandaria when they were first added compared to today. We get Half Hill Farm, which is a bit of a farming minigame in the Valley of the Four Winds, where you'll gradually build up a farm, gain reputation with different NPCs, plant stuff which can then turn into consumables for gold income, and it's just overall something else to do in your spare time.
I don't remember this. I don't think I ever did this, but this is like Garrison 1.0 kinda, where you could... Do you guys remember garrisons where you could just do this every day and sell all the stuff and do all your table missions, never leave your garrison, and make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of gold in Warlords of Draenor without ever leaving your city? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, this is like 1.0, I guess.
There's an armor upgrade system in Mists of Pandaria 2 where you need to spend valor points to upgrade armor. This system is kind of why Blizzard started to dial back on different ways to upgrade your armor in Warlords of Draenor. As say you got a new BIS item, it would usually have to be gemmed, enchanted, reforged and upgraded. Though with upgrade you'd definitely prioritize BIS items and not just every single piece you get. Raid difficulty is worth a mention in Mists of Pandaria 2, as Siege of Orgrimmar was the first raid ever to feature flexible raiding and mythic mode. However, it gets a bit more complicated because the whole raiding system went through a restructure at the end of Mists of Pandaria. So in patch 5.4, Blizzard added flex raiding to Siege of Orgrimmar. This was a new difficulty that was in between LFR and normal, where you could bring anywhere from 10 to 25 players, and the health of the bosses and how many players will be affected by mechanics would scale. Later on, when the Warlords of Draenor pre-patch hit, Blizzard added mythic mode in Siege of Orgrimmar 2. This is the standard 20-player super hard difficulty, which it still is today. So basically, flex raiding became normal mode, normal became heroic, and heroic became mythic. And of course...
Wait, so we're going in to MoP in 5.4, so we're gonna have mythic right away? Is that what's happening? So... my guild, like, I do plan to raid a bit in MoP. I'm trying to think if we're gonna do flex, normal, heroic, or mythic. Like, we're probably not good enough for mythic, let's be honest. Are we good enough for heroic? No, mythic was 6.0. Oh, so there's no mythic. Only SOG. Okay, so it's only gonna be up to heroic. Okay, so maybe we will try heroic. I don't know. I wonder if we're even good. Are we good enough? Guys, be honest. Are we good enough for heroic in MoP? Be honest with me. Yes, no. You guys have seen our SOD raids. Yes, 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 yes. Okay.
course LFR was flexible too, but in terms of raiding changes which just existed strictly during Mr. Pandaria here, it's just flexible as a new difficulty in Siege of Orgrimmar. And are Blizzard going to go back and update all the other tiers of raiding to work as flexible? I mean, we don't know for sure based off of the beta yet, but I would be very surprised if they did. Not that it would be a bad thing, at least for normal mode, it's just not something they've really done in the past. I don't think flexible raiding makes sense for heroic though, seeing as mythic mode is assumed to be absent from the game, and there are many heroic mode bosses which are already quite tightly tuned, so I think that messing with the scale of the encounters on heroic mode specifically would just overcomplicate things. So to be honest, it's probably just going to be 10 and 25 normal and heroic in Mists of Pandaria till Siege of Orgrimmar, and then I don't even know if they'll introduce flex raiding, because guilds would have built their raids around these established formats, and then would they go and change for this one final tier? I mean, it might help, sure, but I don't think it'll be a big deal. Anyway, that's raiding structuring in MoP. AoE looting finally arrives in Mr. Pandaria, so no more need to spam click anymore. Scenarios are added too, which are 3-player instance content focused on the story. There are also heroic modes of scenarios too, where some bosses can hit kind of hard and can be annoying without a tank, but the biggest memory I have of these is doing the daily battle on the high seas in about 5 minutes to work towards your Valor cap. They didn't do scenarios again, I kind of get why. They're fun to do the first time around to see the story, but they don't really have a ton of replayability.
Like, over the years, Blizzard always introduces new concepts to see if they stick, which is fair. It's like, let's try something new, let's see if it works. Like, I'm thinking of like island expeditions, scenarios, right? Like what was that thing where you invaded Orgrimmar, you invaded Orgrimmar or Stormwind City? They're back in retail right now, funny enough, actually. Like, there's these concepts, Warfronts, Torghast, Visions, Island Expeditions, right? Where it's like, let's see if we can like basically create a new game mode. But I feel like the only 4 that have stuck are arenas, battlegrounds, mythics, like Mythic Plus, and raids. And to be honest, out of these 4, like raids and Mythic Plus do way better than arenas and battlegrounds by a mile. But arenas and battlegrounds have still stuck for a very long time. I'm trying to think like what the next one is going to be. Or if there's ever going to be another one. Delves, yeah, like delves, but like, would you even add that to the list? Would you even add delves to the list? I don't know. Like a permanent mode that people are incentivized to queue and a good amount of the player base does it. Maybe you would. But yeah, it's really interesting, right? Like, I wonder what is the, like, I'm sure they're constantly trying to add in a 5th thing, but like, obviously they keep trying and people just don't queue it, you know?
Speaking of replayability, Blizzard also added challenge modes. These are the precursor to Mythic Plus, except they work in several different ways, such as scaling down your gear to a certain item level. The whole idea is just to do the dungeon as fast as possible though, and the speed is going to depend on your comp and your tactics used. I remember gem slots were overpowered as they weren't scaled down, so you could absolutely put together a challenge mode set, similar to how you can still put together a time walking set in retail just to blast through the content. There are 3 new battlegrounds: the Temple of Kot Mogu, where you hold orbs, gain points over time and win; the Silver Sharp Mines, where you escort a cart to score points; and Deepwind Gorge, which is kind of like Arathi Basin in capturing objectives and also escorting a cart. 2 new arenas too: the Tolvia Proving Grounds, this one's similar to Nagram with 4 large pillars and an open area in between; and Tiger's Peak set in Conlight Summit. Again, it has the several pillars set out theme, but also raised areas in the middle too for additional line of sighting or outplaying. Mr. Pandaria introduces a bunch of new endgame reputations and is rather infamous for its need to complete daily quests to max out these reps. This has been seen as retrospectively one of the big downsides of the expansion, when typically the need to do dailies has been pretty minimal in Classic so far. It is likely though you only really have to grind on your main, and then ults will have catch-up systems which were added later on in MoP. These catch-up systems include Grand Commendations, which unlock at Revered. They give 100% bonus rep on ults. This was introduced during the first major patch in MoP. The Black Market Auction House is added. This is NPC listed, unobtainable or rare items which will sell for very high amounts of—
I forgot Black Market Auction House in MoP. That was a big one. That was a huge one. I completely forgot about that one. Okay. There's so many of these things. It's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Gold. Because of this, it can be nice to have a character on a low population server to count this for certain items. The Brawlers Guild will...
Bro, I farmed out full tier 3 on the black market auction house because I really wanted tier 3. I got full mage and full warlock and some a priest. And dude, I remember just sitting there. I had like a bunch of level 1s that I ran out, you know, to the PMAH, and I was just sitting there looking for mounts, looking for tier 3. And then if I found it, then I'm trying to remember what I did. I think I transferred a guild, not a character, but a guild, and the guild bank had more gold. I think you could do up to 1 million gold in a guild bank, or like it was like a 200k per character or something like that. So I transferred like a whole guild over and then try to like, I think back then gold cap was 1 million. Am I wrong here? I think it was 1 million gold cap or something. And then I would try to gold cap it and lock it in. And it took so long, and we finally got it. So yeah. We go.
Run in Orgrimmar and the Deep Run Drown section of Stormwind. This is a PvE based arena style of content where people can watch and you take part in various different fights of different difficulty levels to earn rewards.
Yeah,
this is a lot of fun and a great side objective to work towards. Certain classic dungeons are updated, such as Ragefire Chasm, Scarlet Monastery and Scholomance, to give them a new layout, different loot and bosses. Scarlet Monastery and Scholomance also have a heroic mode at level 90. World bosses are back, and we haven't really seen them properly since TBC, and here they're going to be replacing what Vault of Arcavan or Baradin Hold were, in just a simple and easy way to have a chance at some PvP or PvE gear once per week. Loot is also personal from them, so all you need to do is just tag the boss before it dies to be in for a chance to get an item. Some world bosses also drop mounts too, such as the Heavenly Onyx Cloud Serpent from the Shah of Anger. The pet battle system is implemented, so all of your companion pets will change into battle pets, with a new associated achievements, gold making opportunities from leveling them, and some...
I'm curious at how many people actually do battle pet challenges in WoW, like on a weekly basis. Is it like 5 people, or is it like hundreds of thousands of people that actually play this that we just have no idea? It's like 0. It's like, I actually wonder, bro, like what if there's like hundreds of thousands of people that actually do this? I don't know.
Experience for your character as well. Warlocks get their Greenfire questline as a little something extra, though this can be challenging depending on your level of gear. This released in patch 5.2 originally, that'll be Throne of Thunder, so you should probably expect it to come around that time during Mock Classic 2. Bonus rolls are earned each week via Charms of Good Fortune from various events. These bonus rolls let you, well, have an extra roll on a boss of your choice, so you have another chance of getting an item. The Stormforged and Warforged systems exist in Throne of Thunder and Siege of Orgrimmar respectively. This is a random chance for an item when it drops to gain +6 item levels. Expect to see some crazy GDKP prices where a BIS item drops, it gets forged and goes for an unreal amount of gold. Bro,
I forgot GDKPs are a system in MOP, bro. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's true.
RNG system though. Tanks will get Vengeance, and yes, they had it in Kata, but this is the actually good version. This allows them to gain a percentage of damage taken as attack power, though we should expect the nerf version as it was on the final patch. So it may not be till later in the expansion where tanks are really able to do a lot of damage, but originally tanks could very much top DPS in Mr. Pandaria, so we'll see how this goes.
Oh my
MOP
gosh.
is the first expansion where everyone gets a legendary for the first time. The first 2 legendaries you'll get are just gems, which you use to upgrade your gear, and then towards the end of the expansion the legendary cloaks, which have cool effects when they proc and improve your performance massively.
What do you mean everyone? I never got one of these. I had like 3 or 4 different mages, shadow priest, alts, like this and that. I never had one of these. What you for sure did? No, I for sure never got a legendary cloak. Absolutely not. Everyone got one. I never got one. I never got a legendary cloak and MOP. I guarantee you guys. How did you get this? I never finished the quest. Yeah, must have been some quest chain or something. User error. Everyone had one. Bro, even I got one. It was a quest. You had to raid. I never did any of the raids. Maybe that's why. I remember these looked so cool. Like, so cool. But yeah, I never got one. Never had one.
Troves of the Thunder King was a small event added during patch 5.2. This needs a key to enter and is a short one-player scenario where you aim to loot as much treasure as possible from the room before the 5-minute timer runs out. This is just a fun extra thing to do which I remember enjoying. It gets you a bit of gold, some items that can be used either for professions or for selling and so on, and it's something you'll be doing on every character for sure. The Timeless Isle was introduced towards the end of the expansion. There was an absolute ton of content here from achievements, collections, reputations, and so on. The pet battle tournament for people who had really been focusing on that, the August Celestial world bosses, Ordos as another world boss, though I remember you needed the legendary cloak to access him, and there was pretty much always something going on here or an event that was about to spawn. Zandalari Warbringers were also added in patch 5.2. These are hard-hitting elites that roam across different zones on various respawn timers, and they are always worth trying to take down if you come across one. They drop reputation tokens for various factions, a bag with valuable items, and
I remember farming all these, but why? Why would I need the rep for all these? I remember staying up late, like in college, like farming all of these. They drop a mount? Oh yeah, maybe I was getting into mount farming. Yeah, I was getting into mount farming, and I think I wanted to farm all of these. Yeah, that took forever.
And probably most sought after are their various mounts. We'll see whether Blizzard release these guys in Phase 1, or whether they'll come with Throne of Thunder again. Blizzard added determination stacking to LFR in Mists of Pandaria. This gives players a stacking buff each time they wipe to a boss, but is cleared once a boss is defeated. LFR itself is still not implemented in the game, but we'll see if they decide to release it with this system, which they probably will. Blizzard started to nerf old raids that could be problematic to clear solo during MOP. We can see some examples here from patch 5.3, such as making the Lady Vash encounter less punishing, or reducing the radius of orbs on Void Reaver. So if you're someone that likes going back and clearing old raids for fun, transmog, mounts, whatever it may be, then things should start to get more accessible during MOP. There are the Proving Grounds too. This is basically a PvE testing arena to improve at your role solo. You can queue as tank, heal, or DPS, and there are bronze, silver, and gold medals for reaching certain points in each challenge. There's also an endless mode where you just aim to go as far as possible to see what you can do. Ahead of the curve,
those were actually a good idea, but I feel like no one cared about it. Like the idea was like, oh, I proved myself in gold proving grounds, so now I can join a group for a heroic, because you have to be somewhat good to get gold. So I want to be able to recruit people that got gold, and you could play it solo, so you could actually not be like embarrassed or not feel like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. You could like actually play and improve solo, get good enough to then join a group, but no one cared.
Hellscream, which is just defeating him on normal or above, awarded a mount, the Kor'kron Warwolf. There is also a Shaman-specific transmog set from the Siege of Orgrimmar. This can be looted from the Kor'kron Dark Shaman encounter in any difficulty, and was just a cool extra set of armor, which was later put on the Black Market Auction House during WoD, because at that point it wasn't possible to farm solo for a long time. But these are just a few changes to expect with the expansion, and believe me, when people say Mr. Pandaria added a lot of content to the game, they really mean it. Let me know what your favorite addition from MOP is that you're looking forwards to in the comments down below, and as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in, and I'll see you all in the next one very soon.
Dude, when I saw the video title, I was like 40 big changes. I was like, honestly, what did they do? But it's not really 40 big changes. A better title would be 40 small changes that you didn't notice. Because like all of these things, now that he says it, I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. But like there was nothing that just felt like crazy massive. But all of them aggregated was pretty darn big, right? Dirty Dan, thanks for the tier 1 sub, man. Yeah, now that he says a lot of these, I'm like, oh yeah. Like every single time. But before it, I was like trying to like when the video first started, I was like, what was actually new? Like what were the big MOP changes? Like I just remember the PvP owning, right? But that's not enough clickbait. True. There we go. For you, what is the best expansion for World PvP? Vanilla WoW. Yeah, no flying, definitely. Didn't notice or didn't remember? Didn't remember. Yeah. Crazy small changes that you may or may not remember. There we go. Guys, yeah, I had my, what was it? Simple Armory. I had my mount farming era. Some of you guys know about this because you watched me spend a lot of hours farming mounts. but some of you might not remember because you didn't watch my stream back then. But I spent a long amount of time farming. My goal was farm all the rare drop mounts from all of the OG expansions. And what that meant for me was anything that could drop as a rare drop, like the 1% drop chance mounts from anything in OG WoW. Classic, TBC, Wrath, Kata, Mop, in my mind, was like OG WoW. So I started in Classic, and I farmed out Death Charger's Reigns. And that was the only one back in OG WoW. Wait, what about the ZG mount? Oh, it's not on here because on here you got it from Black Market Auction House, which is somewhere else. Where is that? On Simple Armory, I think they put it, yeah, past limited time. They put it, where did they put it? I don't know. They like moved some of this stuff around. Oh, they put some stuff on Panda Remix. That's funny. Promotional other. Oh, here it is. Other. Bottom right. Anyway, so we got that too. But anyway, the goal was let's farm out everything that we could, right? So it was Death Charger's Reigns from Classic. Then in TBC, I didn't care about all the stuff from the rep that you could buy, but I wanted all like the rare drop ones. So I got Ashes, I got Fiery Warhorse, Swift White Hawkstrider, and Reigns of the Ravenlord. And then in Wrath, I farmed out Time Lost Proto Drake, Invincible, Onyxia, Mim's Head, Black War Mammoth, Black Drake, Twilight Drake, Blue Drake, and Azure Drake, and Blue Proto Drake, and Bronze Drake, which was easy. It's not really a drop. And then in Kata, we farmed out Northwind, Virtuous, Battle Bear, Raptor, Zulian, Southwind, Flame, Egg, Experiment, Blazing Drake, and Handmaiden. And the rest of those weren't really rare drops. And then in Mop, we farmed out, you know, raid drops and the world boss, which I need to put an asterisk here on Mop because I never finished in Mop. I had to use Mop Remix to finish, which still to this day kills me. I farmed out Astral Cloud Serpent legit, Spawn a Horadon. I think I got legit. Clutch of Jakun I got legit. Korokron Juggernaut I got from Mop Remix. And then World Boss Mounts I got Shaw legit, but I got the other three from Mop Remix. So those all have asterisks in my mind. They don't really count. So I got four mounts from Mop Remix. Anyway, I completed it, right? I got every rare drop mount in the classic version of the game. It took me, I don't even know how many hours. Inyo, thanks for the prime. Hobo, thanks for the prime. Dirty Dan, thanks for the tier 1. K-Wolf, thanks for the prime. Otto, thanks for the prime. Asterisk. Gamer, yeah. So then once I did that, I was like, done. I'm never farming mounts again. I got every single mount in the OG game that's a rare drop in all of the classic expansions. I'm out of here. So it took me many years of mount farming, and we dropped it right after that. We got all of them. So there's no more mounts in the game that I don't have that are rare drop mounts. So I'm like, I'm out of here. We're done. We did it all. So that's where we're at. Yo, Tabi, 101 month prime. 101 months, bro. There we go. Do you have Nalak from... I got it from Mop Remix, which still pisses me off.